Hey y'all, hey, how are you doing? Hey Tujuana.
Hey,
She had like a girls trip. She had a good time in Virginia Beach.
and I'm
KB can't
still tired.
KB can't join us tonight because she was on a plane. And also, y'all, I gotta get better at sending this information out earlier. I'll be honest with myself. So but tonight we're gonna finish in our installment of Marriage Be Hard with the Henrys. And then at the end, I want to talk about what I'm going to start doing for the new year, and what I'm looking at doing. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. So, but let's talk about the Henrys. Tawana, this episode, and we've been talking about this for a minute, that the energy was different. Was it because they weren't in the studio? Because all of the other interviews, all the other conversations they had, they were right there in the studio with them. Was it because
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe because they weren't there and Kevin and Melissa, they just have they weren't able to, I guess, give off their energy or whatever. But I think Yvette and Glenn, I don't know. They just seem like, I feel like they are a fun couple, Yvette and Glenn, because I do watch their stories.
okay?
I'm a part of their Patreon.
Okay.
So, I love watching their stories, and I just love to see how they are with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And their kids are so doggone cute.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe it was because they weren't in the studio. Or, I don't know if one of their kids were sick.
I also think it also seemed like because they are also podcasters and they kind of have they do the same thing, they marriage talks and things like that. It also seemed like they were having their own show or their own conversation at some point.
Yeah.
That they were, of course they're talking to each other, but it seemed like Kevin and Melissa were just sitting there listening.
Yeah.
Okay. It seemed like that to me, that I was like, do you think they were having their own convo, their own show at one point? I was just like, like they weren't joining Melissa and Kevin in the conversation, but I think that's a part that's a part of it being virtual. Like they're talking to each other, but they look to Kevin and Melissa's mentors and everything.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really, I was like, gosh, it seemed like they were having their own conversation. And also it just seemed like, I don't know why, it just, their energy was very different. Like they took this seriously, and Glenn was he said, I'm nervous. And okay, so since you follow their Patreon, why did he change his name to Belief? Do you know?
Yes, but I cannot remember.
Okay.
why he changed it. But I think I remember them. Were they interviewed before by Melissa and Kev,
yes.
on the Love Hour?
Yes. So they have had several meetings with Kevin and Melissa. So they have been, so that's what maybe we'll do next time, is we'll go back and find out why he changed his name. I don't dislike the name. I'm just like,
no, it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but I feel like, because I think in previous interviews with on the Love Hour, they were in the studio.
Yes. Okay.
And I just felt like
San Diego as well. I was like, you're just
and I felt like the energy was different.
Right. Okay. So that's what we're gonna chalk it up to be, y'all. Because I just like That it's just that they just weren't there in the studio with them. Okay, so and also, well, I'll get into this a little later, but he mentioned something about his inner bullying. And I was like, huh, I never thought of it called that way. And I was like, I want to ask Tawana, did she ever have this like inner, and I actually had to look it up because, I've talked about self-sabotage before, and,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I've talked about, yeah, things like that before, but like beating yourself up.
Oh
um,
yeah.
Yes, you can hate the danger of yourself inner bullying, beating yourself up and talking yourself out of something, thinking that you're gonna do better next time.
Yep.
Yeah, perceived mistakes we will stop making them after because we've beating ourselves up. And I said, huh, I said I always thought that was the exact opposite. Like if I beat myself up about it, I said I gotta stop dwelling on it. I just gotta stop.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
inner bullying. Hey, first home tuber. Yes, I'm gonna keep calling you first home tuber because that's what I call you. So yes, the inner bullying, and I was like, huh. And so he talked about the inner bullying, and this conversation about communication has come up a couple of times when Kev has talked in these conversations. The Kevin, Melissa, and if you can't communicate with yourself, if you don't know how to get out what you're trying to say, how are you
Right.
going to deal with your mate? How are you going to, and then deal with everything else happening around you, the kids, life, um, your coworkers or the people that you're in business with. So, and
Right.
he talked about that a lot too. So I was wondering, like, um, have you ever dealt with the inner bullying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't say every day, but quite frequent.
Mm,
Second guessing yourself about something,
right.
or just not really having the confidence
Yeah.
in yourself. So you kind of like, nah, no, I'm not going to do it. You kind
And
of talk
so
yourself out of stuff.
you talk yourself out of stuff. And what's interesting in him talking, he started with talking about, and I'm talking about Glenn now. When he started talking about the inner bullying, they also, he said, what's her name? Yvette.
Hmm.
It's so interesting because she said, we were having a conversation the other night and she was talking to him about a certain thing. And he said, wait a minute, you're not going to tell me I'm not doing good in this. It's almost like he's now celebrating himself and saying,
Right.
and she's like, she's not telling him he's not doing good at something, but she's letting him know that this is where we're having an issue. And he's like, no, but I'm doing good in this. Like I've worked hard
Hmm.
to not be that inner bully for myself.
Right.
And I was like, huh. Do you think, okay, so now going back to this couple specifically, the Henrys, it's almost like, do you think that they are listening to each other sometimes? Because I feel like she's kind of, and I'm so sorry, Yvette, the word mousy came up in my head. I don't think she's mousy, but
No, I don't think she's mousy. I just think, when she has a point to get across,
mhm,
she gets it across. She doesn't have to be loud and boisterous about it.
okay.
I just think that their persona, what I see, is that they're just two very calm individuals.
Very calm, very
You
pensive.
know,
She's
and that maybe like that's how they best communicate with each other, is to not get all elevated and excited about something, but to talk in a calm tone voice so that you are able to listen to what the other person has to say, you know?
so I agree with you, and because I do think that she's trying to be an active listener. I was like,
Mhm.
I really think that she's really trying to hear him to understand. But
Yes.
there's several times when he's like, I'm talking to my wife and she's just not getting it. How do I and I feel like maybe it's him thinking that he's not communicating well. And maybe and actually, now that I think about it, he said he's the overthinker. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, so maybe it's not that she doesn't understand, but maybe he needs to just say it in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
because in my experience, um, my husband can say something and I'll think it's one thing. And he's like, "You didn't listen to anything I said." Well, no, this is what I heard you say, and totally missed it.
That they spoke about that a lot, honestly. And Kevin's brother, I feel like this is the third time that he's talked about the fact
Mhm.
that he, in his head, he's saying if, where, when, where, what. He's telling her the whole
Right.
story, and he just said the what, and that's it. And he just said the what,
That was it.
and so a week later, things are just happening, and she's like, "Wait a minute, where from what you told me last week did this all happen?" And it's so interesting because I feel like Yvette, she goes through that. Like she's doing all of these things in her head, and he wants to talk it out and explain everything. And she's just being an active listener, but it's not being communicated to him. You guys, we're talking about the Henrys, Marriage Be Hard, the Henrys, their conversation with Kevin and Melissa. They're also podcasters. Their their relationship is called, what is theirs called,
How
Tujuana?
married are you?
How married are you? Thank you. How
Yeah.
married are you? And they're very calm conversations, and I keep saying that the energy was just different, and it's just because they talk just like this. And Yvette, she just she's very pensive. She just talks very calmly, and I love it. And but I'm just like, huh? Is he matching her energy? Is he? Are they really? How are they communicating? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need because like you could tell Melissa could be talking like this, and Kevin's like he's a comedian, so he's all
Kevin's all over,
all
you
over the
know.
place. But they make it work. But both of them are so calm and just like
So I
intentional.
feel like they're both actively listening to each other,
Mhm.
but sometimes you miss a mark.
Okay, so one thing I got from this, and I'm asking you the question. You're the married one. Okay, in marriage, do you think one of the partner's issues, maybe I want him to read my mind or anticipate my needs? Because Glenn started to say that. Glenn asked Melissa, do you want Kev to anticipate your needs? And she said no, kind of read your mind, and know what you're going to say. And, as my husband, you should know me by name. And she said, no, I really want him to ask me.
Yeah. I mean, I agree
Even
with
if you've been
Melissa.
married 10, 15 years.
Yeah, because no one stays the same. You know what I mean? Things change, people change. Um, and you maybe, know a particular, or you think you know a particular need that I need, but in actuality, I don't. Maybe I've needed that in the past, but now I don't.
It's so interesting. We're ever evolving. We're ever evolving as people, as women, as Black women, as in relationships, and that is definitely something I got out of this conversation. As is, and Melissa has said this many times, is that the person I was when I was 21 or 20 is
Mm-hmm.
not the person I am at 39.
That's
So
right.
you have to you have to know and be intentional about loving that person, whether she's 21 or 39, and wanting to be with that person and wanting to stick it out. So, and I
Mhm.
really, I agree with you. But I think that there was a surprise to that. I really think that he thought, I think that I wouldn't say it. I think some men think, oh, well, she wants me to read her mind, or she wants me to know what she wants and just do it. And that's not true at all. Let's have the conversation. Let's add, but then, oh, if I say, well, we need to talk, then we're in trouble. So I feel like, so I do think that sometimes men think that, oh, I got to read her mind and things like that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think, it's helpful for them to, anticipate our needs, you know, to be ahead of the game. Like, oh, I know she's gonna need this. Let me do this, for her. Or I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I know what something that frustrates me when we're having a conversation and you think I know the question that I'm gonna ask, and you just blurt out a response, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were getting ready to ask me this. No,
No, I
that
wasn't.
frustrates me. Like, no. So now I'm feeling like, okay, so you don't want to hear me say anything.
You know what is so funny you said that, because that frustrates me. The frustrates me is like, okay, I know you're mad, because I was like, I wasn't mad, but now, because now you think I'm mad, now I am mad. Because
Right.
now that you've assumed that I'm mad, now I'm mad because you
Now
made
I'm
that
mad.
because now you've made that assumption. Now I am mad. And
Right.
people assuming that, and I was like, that's not what I was. That's not what I'm not.
Not at
I'm
all.
not. I wasn't mad, but now I'm mad because you've made that assumption, and now I am feeling some type of way. So
Mhm.
that has gotten me several times. I had
Mhm.
an ex that it was like, oh, I know what you're about to say. I know. I didn't want you to get upset about this. I was like, I'm upset because now I am upset. I wasn't
Right.
upset, but now I am upset that you think I'm upset. And
Right.
I'm like, if you just have the conversation with us, that it's not as detrimental as you think it is. And I feel like that kind of got them early in their marriage with the Henrys. And um, yeah, I was about to say, and I feel like Yvette definitely uh, said that early in our marriage, she said that she really had to stick it out. What did her well, she, yeah, that she wanted to make sure and prioritize him, but at the end, but she was really very much, Glenn would say, I need to stick it out as well, but that got them in the beginning that I have to prioritize, and um that who we were in the beginning is not who we're going to be. That's what I
Mhm.
was trying to say. So I really thought that was a very interesting. They really harped on that. The whole conversation was the fact that, you know, what did he said something that was so interesting, that believe good people are not found, they're flourished. And I was like, ooh.
Mhm.
And we really have to remember that good people are not found, that you just don't, find a good person and just like, oh, they're a great person. That's
Yeah.
it. No, good people are not found, they're flourished. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And so you definitely follow them, and you're on their Patreon. I am not. And I was like, I really have to take a deep dive into them, because with this episode, I was like, their energy is so different. And I said, I'm not sure, like, are they listening to each other? But I feel like they're more the younger couple. They really wanted the love hour to come back. They were really getting something from learning from other people.
Yeah.
And go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I think all couples can learn something from each other. Um it's good for other couples to be around married couples, right? Because you learn from each other.
So, and Shauna, hey Shauna, good to have you back. Okay, so it's so funny that Shauna said that, because we tackled that earlier in the Shauna, that their energy was very different. But then I also was gonna say this at the end, Shauna, but you just brought it up. What did the communication? Okay, what was I just gonna say? I just feel like that did they argue about the little stuff? That's what I wrote down. Did they? I just felt like during the interview, like they were like, well, hold on now. Well, wait a minute. Well, that's not what I was. So I guess, oh, I want to talk about this letter. Like they weren't communicating. So she writes a 3-page letter. And I was like, okay. And then he throws the letter in the trash. I said, did they argue about the little stuff? Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tawana. What? Okay, so what was that look for? Was it because he threw the letter in the trash, or because the communication was kind of awkward that she had to write him a 3-page letter? So
Well, because that kind of hit home.
Okay, go ahead.
For me.
Say more words.
I guess, writing a letter when you can't really find the words in the moment. So you write them down and in hopes that your partner will take the time to read and listen. It doesn't always work like that.
Not only does it, okay, Shauna, please don't hurt me with this one. Please don't hurt me with this one. We're gonna have to launch an investigation on that one. So that's our whew. But we're gonna go back to this. Not only you write the letter and you're hoping that they're, really taking in everything that you're saying because you just don't have the words at the time. So let me sit down, let me write it out and everything. A lot of times when you write a letter, when you start writing stuff down, like if you're journaling, you're just trying to vent and get it out. It's cathartic. It helps you as much as it helps the reader, right?
Right.
Then, excuse me. And then for the person to throw it away, and he said, but I read it. And I said, but that kind of hurts as well, to feel like your words don't have the power, or they're not
important.
Listening important. So that hurt too. And I just feel like that's why I keep asking, does he listen to her? And I think he does. I think that he definitely genuinely loves and cares for his wife. No,
yeah,
that's no question.
I feel it.
But I do think that Yvette said something very key, that now he is in a place of protecting his peace. But that's kind of very singular to me. Like he's in a place of protecting his peace. Is he also in a place of listening and to his wife and protecting her peace? So that's my question. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, maybe that's what he's thinking, like in protecting his peace, he's protecting hers as well. I don't know, because, well, I don't recall. How did he elaborate on how he's protecting his peace?
No. And so here's the thing. And he went into, I feel like that's when he went into, when she was talking about a certain frustration that she's having. That's when he's like, well, hold on now. I'm doing good in that. Like he's really trying to work on himself. But is he like talking to her about how I'm protecting my peace? And I also know that he's doing mentorship as well as the therapy. So I wanted to get into that as well. That was really an interesting takeaway, because he's doing the individual therapy, couples therapy, and then he also gets a mentor just to help with communication.
Right. And he does speak on that on his Patreon, his YouTube videos that he does. So like with his staff, I'll say, like the people, that do the cameras and everything, he makes a point to I guess fellowship once a month with them, with the guys, I guess, just kind of, like hang out or whatever. Like I think one time they've done it at his house, like it was like a summer evening or whatever, or maybe it was his turn to host.
Right.
So because I kind of, I kind of feel like he's always kept to himself, not really getting out. Like, you have your crew that you work with, but like as far as like outside of just working with them, I don't think that he really does that. So I know that is something that he has said in his YouTube videos that he's working on.
That he's working on getting out and doing more with his group. And I know he says, I feel like he said every Wednesday or Thursday, he does something with the guys, but
Mm-hmm.
he also uses that as a communication tool with his wife. So I thought that was interesting how one of the guys came over, the mentor, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
came and said, okay, now you talk. And so Yvette, she unloaded and she spoke. And then Yvette said to him, are you okay? And he said, no, he'll be fine. So, and I thought that was interesting that the male mentor said to his wife, he'll be fine. Of course, she's checking on him because
Yeah.
but I thought that, okay, so you have the therapist, you have your individual therapy, couples therapy, and a mentor just for communication. So I'm not, and I like Glenn. I'm just like, this is their his conversation or his communication style is very different.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just very different. That's it.
Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
different to me. But I do appreciate, yeah. And Shauna just said, did they argue before the interview or before the conversation? Because I was like, but I feel like they were arguing about the little stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh well, now hold on now, and it kept going just like this back and forth. Well, you're not giving the full context, and and I was like,
I don't know if they were arguing or, maybe they just wanted, um, like you said, the full context out, because if you don't give the full details of the story, you're thinking like,
hmm.
you know?
And that's what Shauna, and that's why I keep asking because yes, I was like,
It
this
was
is such
awkward.
it was, I don't know, but awkward. It was just like I said, it was just a very different energy.
It was a different energy, yeah.
And I keep questioning it because we've chalked it up to they were the only couple that was not in
In
the
the
studio.
studio. Right? Because like I said, they've been on the Love Hour before. And I don't feel like, at least I don't remember the energy being awkward. But Kev is hyper, and kind of like brings the life to the interviews sometimes. He and his wife, he and Mrs. Kev on stage, but I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like sometimes, yeah, it's important to have that in studio. It's just important to have that feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I felt like sometimes they were having their own conversation. They were having, and even Melissa even talked about it. She said it was good that you guys were looking at each other when you guys were having these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I love them. I think that they're a really they've been working hard to because they know that this is it's
Yeah.
Glenn's like she said. But I just think that his communication is very different than hers. And also, this is one of the things I want to kind of end on is that Yvette said when you're trying to communicate, but then you also have kids and you have kids on top of kids on top of kids that they're constantly in your face. And sometimes you may not be able to communicate the way you want to communicate. And your partner kind of has to understand that.
Right.
And to prioritize, has that been an issue before with you, Tujuana?
Yes. Yeah. I
Because
mean, I mean, it's just been difficult. I'll just say that. We won't get into it here.
Tujuana does not want to elaborate. She's like, yes.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about it.
Because I just feel like because when Yvette was talking about this, and she said you have kids, and then you have another kids, and then you have more kids, and they're constantly in your face. And my husband is back here doing his thing. I really have to make sure and prioritize my husband. And I'm like, huh, I feel like she's doing a lot of prioritizing. And he's kind of celebrating. So, not celebrating. That's the wrong word, but he's
Well, I think he's the stay-at-home dad.
oh, is he? Okay.
I
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
think, but I think she. Well, no, you know what? They do have a studio. They do have a separate place where they do their podcast. And I think she also homeschools the kids.
Okay.
Or maybe he's not a stay-at-home dad now.
But well,
I
okay.
think maybe in the past he was.
The pandemic changes everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think, she homeschools the kids. Yeah, this is a lot.
So, and something else that they were talking about that was really, really key is how to be honest and kind at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because they were like, they really wanted the Love Hour to keep going. And
Yeah.
Melissa, she was like, no, it has to end because, and it's true. Watching Kev is so funny because he doesn't want to do the Bald and Beautiful. Sometimes you could tell on his face he does not want to be there. He does not want to be there. But it's also kind of fun when he's just frustrated and just kicking his shoes off and is
Yeah.
honestly. So I'm kind of here for it then too. But you could tell in his face, and Melissa's like, I can tell in your face because of the momentum from us, the fans that love them, they're like, yes, bring it back. We love these conversations.
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe you don't have to do it with Kev, but that's why it is called the Love Hour, because you guys have a long-standing relationship and a long-standing marriage.
Yeah.
Um, and he takes this momentum and like he really wants to let's do it again. And she's like, but I really appreciate, and she's like, when we get alone, I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. After probably 1 week, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, and so by the time, and I've been guilty of this in the past. I've been Melissa, whereas by the time I'm ready to speak up, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I very much worked on that. So I appreciate that Melissa's like, but hold on. If you have something to say, you're not going to not be kind and honest at the same time. Do you remember what she was saying about that? What do you think about that? Because I really appreciate, she says, have you been able to say what you have to say and be kind at the same time? Go ahead and talk about that.
Well, not always. But I think, in your intentions are to be kind, but I guess in the heat of a moment, that's why some people need to step back and like, let me sleep on this. Right? Because you don't want to hear what I have to say right now. But you can be honest and kind. You just have to pick and choose your words. And maybe you have to take a step back. And let's circle back on this tomorrow when I've had a chance to calm down and think.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Kev talks about this a lot, that for years, and he's like, he feels like for about 15 years, Melissa just, and I think that we, especially as Black women, we fall into this, oh, well, that he's the man, he's the king of the castle, this, that, and the other. And so she let him do what he wanted to do and just fell in line. And now she's speaking up, and now she's she's coming into her own,
right,
and having her own voice. And it kind of has thrown him for a loop. And I definitely think that Yvette did the same. And we as women, we do that. We let okay, that's the man, that's my man, that's my husband. And she's like, for years I didn't say anything, and now, and I appreciate that he recognizes that for years he said, oh, I'm doing great, I'm a great husband. And
yeah,
because I'm not speaking up.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you run into that oh, if I don't speak up, then oh, they just assume, which is the word I used. Oh no, assume.
Yeah.
Um, I said anticipate, but assume. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I've run into that, right? Because you're newly married, you know, and you're thinking, oh, things are gonna work, if I do this, whatever, don't say anything, no, you communicate.
You communicate and let them know. And this is another thing. The reason why I went to that topic is because we as women, and Melissa's very astute in this, is like you can tell Kev he doesn't want to be there because he didn't say it, but you can tell on his face.
Yeah.
I notice stuff that you don't think I'm noticing. I'm like, okay, I can tell on her face that, or I can tell on his face. But she's like, I can tell you're not happy, even if you say you're happy and you say you want to do this because you want to do this
Right.
um to please your partner.
Mm-hmm.
He'll do it, but he's not going to be happy about it. And so you not being happy is not going to make me happy. It's not
Right.
going to, I'm going to catch that energy. And so
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate it. It's like, we as women, we carry that burden. We carry the burden sometimes and we just take it on.
Yeah.
We just take it on. I just think that it's so interesting, the taking of the taking on the burden without a second guess, because I've definitely done that. It's without even that's my obligation. I can tell in my husband's face he's not happy, or I can tell, like, I can tell something's going on, or I can, and we just make adjustments to suit somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And then that's not fair, right? Because you're not expressing how you feel when you're constantly adjusting for someone else
someone else, and
and
then
keep pushing yourself to the back.
and just like as we were saying earlier, if we just had the conversation about it, we could have come up with a compromise. We could have come up with something else to another option, but
Yeah.
just sometimes we'd rather not be happy. And I definitely think that Yvette, she said that she's been guilty of that in the past, of just being kind of quiet and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
But and I just they're also their couple. They're the couple that's constantly, and all the couples are constantly evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Their growth is constant. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we had the Tanksleys that were just, that's, they're Marcus and Angel, and then they're always going to have a good time. But and then of course we had Tab and Chance, but they're the couple that's constantly working at their
You can tell. Like I almost felt like they were in a counseling session.
Yes, that's what excuse me, maybe that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like they were in a counseling session.
Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. It was like, okay, that's it. This is more of a counseling session, which is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I
we
like
as the audience were not expecting it.
we're not expecting it, which is not, hey, I love stuff that I'm not expecting, but I just thought, it was just a counseling session, which is great. And also one of the reasons why I love the book Marriage Be Hard is because, like Kevin and Melissa said, in writing this book, they learned some things too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are constantly learning from the people that they're kind of having conversations with, and that through the book they learn some things as well. So yeah.
Right.
So what was your favorite conversation? We had Tab and Chance, we had the Tanksleys,
Oh boy.
we had
Uh,
we had Spice and his wife.
oh. I mean, if I had to have a favorite
We
one,
also had the
I
T
mean,
Hamiltons.
I like them all. Um, let's see.
We had the Franklins, which is Kirk and Tammy,
Yeah.
Tab and Chance, Cameron and Lauren.
Hmm. I would say Erica and Warren.
Erica and Warren. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like them. I was gonna say, I love Angel and I just love the Tanksleys.
Well, yeah, I feel like, I see the Tanksleys all the time.
Right. I've seen the Tanksleys all the
So and what was I getting ready to say? Yeah, like I feel like I see the Tanksleys all the time because I watch The Bold and the Beautiful.
right.
And then I also watch their podcast, Is This Gonna Cause an Argument?
Exactly.
So I don't know. I just like to see other couples.
I do too.
So for me, it would be Erica and Warren Campbell first, and then I think Tammy and Kirk second, and then Tab and Chance, the Tanksleys, the Adams, and Lauren and Cam.
Lauren and Cam, yes.
And then the Henrys.
So I actually liked Spice Adams and his wife. I really thought and that's what I'm saying about the juxtaposition between energies. Like Spice is Spice, and then his wife is just like down here. And
but you notice he wasn't as hyper as normal.
Right.
As like we're used to seeing him, right? Because I've seen him a few times on Zooming with the Homies, and he and Afion.
Yes, I love them.
So,
but he's not as hype, but also the appreciation for the wives these guys always want to let their wives get their shine. Like, and that's something to hear always is like, nope, I want her to step into the light. So and I just love that about Spice. He was like, no, okay, I'm gonna let you talk and I'm gonna let you do your thing and stuff like that. So I definitely loved Spice, and because I really wanted to see him in a different light. I wanted to see, and I definitely liked the Hamiltons, and because a lot of people, because I saw Love Is Blind, that their season, and they're the only ones I like. Season 2 and 3.
My God, it's so hard to watch.
It's season 2 and 3. People were watching it. I couldn't take it. I couldn't do it. And then. So I did like the Hamiltons, and then the Tanksleys, of course. And then Erica and I liked Erica and Warren because to me that they said something that was so interesting. They're like, we didn't even know how to be married. We thought we were treating each other like
right.
We're like playing catch, or let's play. Here, sit in my hands, and I was like, wait a minute, let me throw my
She's right, because she had a different romanticizing how the marriage was supposed to be, how she thought it was going to be, and he's just coming in like, hey, what's up? And going to play his Xbox or whatever. And she's like,
what? And she's up there in lingerie thinking, oh, my man's gonna come up here and ravage me. And it's not like that. It's like we gotta communicate and stuff like that. And so I definitely I liked them because they honestly, a lot of these couples learned and grew together. So that was huge. Love Is Blind. I couldn't get around the season.
Oh my God, I couldn't
do it.
I think season 1, I think I watched during the pandemic.
Yes, the Hamilton,
Lauren and Cameron.
Lauren and Cam. That's the only one I watched. I couldn't on the other ones. So Shauna posted this, and we got to launch an investigation. You see it?
Oh, I hope they're still together. Oh,
we gotta launch an investigation. We gotta figure it out. And James did come in when we were doing our review of Love on Stage. He did come in and put commented in the chat, and so we were really hyped about that. We were like, oh my gosh, James. So we were working. We were like, oh my gosh. So we're gonna have to find out. We were really praying that they're still together and everything is good. But we will find. We will have to launch an investigation upon that. On that, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do. What is it called? Married at First Sight might give me agita. I don't know if I'm
Girl.
to review. I'll probably watch it, but to actually review, because y'all know I take notes and I do pictures and I do the slides and everything. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But Ready to Love, that looks pretty good. So I may be doing Ready to Love. I don't know about Married at First Sight. And then Tujuana, I hope you can join me, because I also was where we might do some investigation, y'all. We might do some podcasts on like who killed Senzo, on that's kind of a documentary, a docu-series. So I think we should do some recapping on who killed Senzo and Killer Sally. I think Killer Sally's Netflix. So I watched Killer Sally. So we might do some.
Okay.
So we might start doing some docu-series type of recaps of some shows. I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be different than the reality TV type of reviews. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing come January. And
I don't know what is Who Killed Senzo? What is that?
That is the African. He's the gold medalist that was killed. He was at a party, and somebody came into the house, and he was the only one that was killed. Everybody else, Senzo, Robert Mayawa, a South African professional footballer.
Is that on Netflix?
It is Netflix, or I will find out, because it's on Netflix. Yes, it's on Netflix. So we'll probably be doing Who Killed Senzo and Killer Sally, and just recapping it and talking about it, because Killer Sally is a trip too. So we'll be talking about those. So I think, and this was the last of Marriage Be Hard, but and Love on Stages, I know that that's coming back for season 3, but she's not going to be in Atlanta. So
no, I don't know where she's going to be.
I don't know where she's going to be. I don't know that she knew where she was going to be, because we also went to Marriage Be Hard when they did the book tour, and she definitely said that she will be doing a season 3, but it won't be here in Atlanta. So we're gonna have to find out where that is. So yeah, and if Here's the Thing goes on tour,
I'm there.
we're already there. We already
there.
We have a plan. We're gonna be there. So so I said, how, like, we're gonna be there for sure. So and the season finale of Churchy just ended. Did you see it?
No, it was only 8 episodes.
6. I thought he did 6 to, yeah, he's only doing 8.
No.
Yeah, it's so funny, because somebody put in the chat, I can't wait for episodes 12 and 13, and he said, you mean episode 8.
No. I love that show.
I love it. You guys, please get the app. Please get the KOSS app. Please get the app.
Yes.
$60 for a year. It's $60 for a year.
Is it 60 or 50?
Is it 50?
I think it's $49.99. I think
$49.99 for the year, and then I thought it went up, and then $5 a month. That's it.
Or Patreon.
Or Patreon on Patreon.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us, because I really appreciate it. And we're going to be revamping, and we're going to be doing more of this. So I really appreciate it.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Absolutely. Happy holidays. I'm just going to go ahead and say Merry Christmas.
Be safe.
Be safe, please. Yep. Hang out. Enjoy your loved ones, and happy holidays.
Yay.